Hey everyone, Malphite here, and today I'm gonna do something different. I have Paint open, and we have the teams from the LCS next year. It's going to be the Americas, but we are going to fill in some names that we expect are going to happen. And so we will see what's going to happen with the other teams and the other spots, right? So first of all, what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to cross out. You might hear maybe clicking of my mouse or something, so sorry about that, but I don't know. I just thought this would be a fun thing to do. I'm going to cross out the two teams that we know are leaving the LCS, are leaving the Americas region. And then I'm going to highlight maybe some players. So for example, the NRG players are all pretty good, right? Like these are some players that could definitely deserve an LEC spot. And so, well, now I crossed out two teams, and so we already reduced some number of players, so it's going to be a lot harder to create these new rosters. But stay with me here. If you saw my previous video, you know the craziest leak that just happened. And so we pretty much know what the Shopify roster will be. It's going to be Fudge, it's going to be contracts. So let me just contracts. I can just hear my mouse clicking, right? And then, well, whatever. Contracts, and we are going to get Niski coming from the LEC back to NA again for 400,000 if the rumors are true, right? Then we'll get an import here. An import AD carry. Maybe Berserker, maybe someone else. We'll have to find out. Probably someone else, because Niski was already pretty expensive. And then we'll get Loopy in the support role, most likely. If you want to know who Loopy is, check out my video that I made about the leak that happened. It's gonna be titled something like Niski is going to NA or something. Niski leak. I don't know. We'll have to see. I did not upload it yet. But basically, we already know the roster for Shopify Rebellion. And that's a huge thing, right? Then another thing is FlyQuest did really well. The only Western team that actually made it to quarters, and they put up a huge fight against Gen G. It went to 5 games and everything. And so why would you change anything? All right? Bwipo, Inspired. I'm writing really slowly, so sorry about that, but Quad, I really want to get this so we have it kind of neatly done. So we got Masu in here and Busio. The whole lineup just seems to click, just seems to work perfectly. Quad has gotten so much better. Masu Busio, such a good bot lane, you know. Masu was in the Worlds video. He seems like kind of the star, the rookie of this roster. It is his first year. We have Bwipo Inspired, the veterans in the top lane, the best Western jungler, combined with Bwipo, you know, doing really well in top lane. So I would keep this whole roster, right? Then we have Team Liquid. Impact was doing really well for them. I do not see a reason to send Impact somewhere else. And then their bot lane was also doing really well. So Yon and CoreJJ, I think you keep these guys. CoreJJ still, despite being the oldest player in the LCS, this guy was also the best support. You know, in the talks of who is the best Western support, I still think it's Mickey X, but this guy was up there in the talks. And now I think you definitely make change, although you could run it back. I think they kind of mental boomed in the Worlds, but they could do well even with this lineup. So now you could either run it back, you keep one player and change the other, or you could kick both. But the problem is, you know, Jojo Pune left. He's not in the league anymore, right? And so who would you get instead of APA? Do you just go for Palafox and hope he's good? You know, he was good 2 years ago, but last year not so much. Maybe that was the roster, but they pretty much kept the roster, and still NRG wasn't very impressive. Now, do you just import, let's say, some academy mid like Quad or Quid, right? But Quid wasn't that impressive either, compared to Quad, let's say. Or do you like take Jensen or something, right? It's like, it seems like it's all downgrades compared to APA, and also APA has become such a staple player for NA and for Team Liquid that I think you should keep him, right? People know him. He's Appa, Yappa, right? He is the guy that is trash talking, and but he got really so much better on the champions. Even in Worlds, it was seen like maybe there was a mistake of picking Kled in the third game against FlyQuest, but overall he was doing pretty well on the Nico, on the Ziggs, on his pocket picks, and he started getting better even on like the standard champions. And so I think if they just train, if they have good rosters to practice against, like the FlyQuest who was really good, like the Shopify Rebellion, I think you keep this guy and you just see what happens, right? For the jungler, I think it's going to depend on some other changes. I think, you're not getting inspired, you're not getting contracts. River signed back with 100 Thieves, and I think Blabber is going to stay in Cloud9. He is just their star player, so Blabber is here. And so this is a question about, can you get Spica? I think if you can get Spica, you should get Spica, right? If you can get Spica, get Spica. If not, run it back with Omti. But we also heard about Spica potentially coming to Europe, right? So this is pretty tough off-season. And if not, just, maybe you can also import. So I'll just cover all my bases here. I do not think you're getting someone else. Or you can promote. Maybe there's a good jungle to promote. I wasn't really looking at it. So this one is basically a big mush, but I'll just put a question mark here because it depends on a lot. Dignitas is also kind of a big question mark for me. So I'll leave this one open. And I'll go back to Cloud9. So I think if you're Cloud9, you get Thanatos. He was pretty good. He didn't have a good showing, but so neither did the whole Cloud9 in the summer split. That's why also they end up missing Worlds against 100 Thieves, which also weren't very impressive. And you keep Vulcan. So you're going to have Vulcan and Sven. You're going to have Thanatos and Blubber. And now the problem is you also need a mid laner, right? So again, I think Insanity was actually pretty good for Shopify. So I think Cloud9 Insanity would look so much better than in the previous Shopify Rebellion roster. So this is what I would want to see. Insanity for Cloud9. If that's not the case, you have one import. You could also afford another import. So I'll just write IM as an import. And I also mean it / promotion or something. Someone new. I don't think the players here are good enough. But I would really like to see Insanity on Cloud9. For 100 Thieves, this is really tough, right? Because I wasn't really impressed with Tomo. I think Ayla is really bad. So I would definitely kick Ayla. Quid didn't impress me that much either, but he also wasn't that bad. So maybe you keep Quid. I'm not really sure. But if you cannot get a better mid lane, then, I would still suggest, Insanity is a good pick if he doesn't go to Cloud9 and they decide to go for someone else. But if not the case, you get Quid or you import. Now the controversial thing here is the top lane, right? Because we have Thanatos locked, we have Fudge locked, Impact and Bwipo pretty much locked. And we still have Sniper. We still have Dokla. We still have players like Licorice. And we also have players like SRTTY. This guy is a huge talent coming from the academy. He was doing really, really well. I think he was in the FlyQuest academy, but FlyQuest is definitely not going to promote such a player when they have this star roster, right? And so you have to decide which of these players are you getting. And so I think, and this is going to be really controversial, but I think 100 Thieves should actually keep Sniper. He's very young. He's the youngest player in the LCS or in the Americas now. And he was horrendous in Worlds. But I think he's so young that he can still learn so much more and become so much better, right? It would be a waste to not play in the LCS and not get experience on such a player. And then also, I think you should get SRTTY. And so maybe you get SRTTY in 100 Thieves and you get Sniper on Dignitas. That's also a possibility, right? So these guys are basically interchangeable. I'll just write like a little thingy here. And when it comes to Licorice, he wasn't that impressive, really. He's still a really good player. Same goes for Dokla. I think both of these guys still have a lot of potential, but I just feel like, you know, getting the rookies, getting the talent in already a really strong top lane pool would be so much better. And, you know, maybe if you're one of these guys, Licorice, Dokla, maybe try to get a spot in the Americas region, right? Maybe, or just go grind out in academy, but maybe find the other teams and say, hey, you know, I was pretty good in the LCS, maybe you could find a spot for me, or maybe not, you know. Let me just see if I can. Okay, so Sven left. Yeah, I have no clue who could Dignitas get here. Bvoy was pretty good, so maybe someone like Bvoy could still get a place, because he was pretty good. But yeah, I don't know about Isles. Isles was solid. I don't have any problem with Isles, but he wasn't very like special player or anything. We know Zazal is not going to be continuing. We know Tomio is out. We know Fake God is out. Maybe you get Umti in case someone gets like Spica is probably out from this team anyways, right? So in case somebody gets a different player, someone could get Umti. So maybe Dignitas would get Umti, or actually from now on it's really tough to predict these, but so far as the top side of 100 Thieves goes, as the top side, oh, just the top lane and the AD carry, but we pretty much predicted the whole Cloud9, Shopify, FlyQuest and Team Liquid for NA next year. So let me know what you think about these moves. Do you like them? Do you hate them? Would you add something? Would you change? Would you add something? Would you change something? Am I completely wrong? You know, let me know everything that you think about this move in the comments. If you want to know how I got the Niski news from, just come and check out my videos about my leaks and so on. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Like the video, it would help me so much and mean the world for me. And I'll see you guys in the next one.